What would AI regulation look like?
Nobody knows. So,
We don't have any.
well, we don't have any. We do have some, you know, checks and balances on the AI regulation right now, in the sense of the data you can train on, and
Mm.
you have these extensions of GDPR and these things onto this data. But overall, it's a completely new thing. So there is not much regulation on it. So who is the regulator here? Well, um,
Hopefully not ChatGPT.
Congress or what? So maybe ChatGPT is better than 70-year-old people who don't use the
Yeah.
chat. How can you regulate it if you don't use it? Now this is very bad, and this opens the door to so much lobbyism. Who I don't know. Imagine you don't understand the tech, and you have these two people. One is saying don't regulate it because I want this company to be more successful,
Mm.
and the other is like don't regulate it, it's going to take the jobs of my people.
Mm.
And you, the congressman, you're like, what do I do now? That's why we need very, very capable, very smart people to be non-political.
Mm.
So they should not come from politics, but they should be experts who have these conversations, and then they talk about it. As far as I know, in the US, there is a very good group of people that is working on the regulation, but nobody wants to make quick moves
Mm.
because we still don't know, right?
Mm.
In the EU, like even worse, because EU is a bit further away from the action, and we need to gather much more knowledge and understanding about the AI before we can start regulating it. Now, why is it so? Well, it's paramount, like
Mm.
that we don't regulate AI as soon as possible, because if we regulate it right now, only the bad actors on the market will will break the regulation, right?
Mm.
So we regulate it and we stop all the good actors from doing the right thing, and we empower like bad actors, terrorists, military. Like military are the good guys, but not always. Like
Mm.
if you're on the receiving end, they're the bad guys. And we are giving them the green light to be ahead of everybody else in terms of AI. We don't want, as a society, we do not want this to be the case. So let's wait a bit with the regulation. Let's understand it well, and let's have these groups of people, and they have to be wider. They have to be tech people. They have to be business people, but they also have to be philosophers.
Mm.
They have to be doctors. It has to be much wider than we're usually used to, because these things affect society in unprecedented
Mm.
ways. So it has to be as broad as possible.
I see, I understand. What would regulation look like for AI? I hear regulation for AI and I imagine the three laws of robotics. Probably that's not what it's going to be.
Isaac Asimov was the best at, you know, predicting these things. So all of his things, robots, nuclear fusion,
Yeah.
AI, everything is coming
Yeah,
right
yeah.
now. So reread all the books,
Yeah, yeah.
The Foundation, iRobot, all these amazing things, very relevant to the conversation. But yeah. So to answer your question about what would it look like, well, everybody starts from the training data, and they start regulating what can we train on, what can we not train on.
Mm.
It's too late. Like they have already trained on the data, so stop focusing on the data. What is the next thing you can regulate? You can regulate the questions that you can ask,
Mm.
right? What can we ask? Well, they're trying to say you're not allowed to ask mental health related questions,
Mm.
and ChatGPT is not replying. Well, let me tell you, ChatGPT is a better psychologist than 99% of the psychologists. So maybe it's not going to give me the best reply, but it will give a better reply than so many people. So should we regulate it?
Mm.
I don't think so. And who are we hurting? We're hurting the people who don't have access to mental health. Come on, this is the worst thing we can do. You know, yeah, you're poor, no mental health for you, and this is what most of the regulations they would achieve this. They would either take away from the poor, or they would take away from the good actors. The regulation would first hurt
Mm.
the good guys.
Okay.
And yeah, that's why we have to be extremely careful.